my God.
Oh no, again we lost one more.
We are in India's Kaziranga National Park, home to the greater one-horned rhinoceros. Barely a century back, less than 10 rhinos were left in this park. Wide-scale hunting and loss of habitat had brought Indian rhino to the brink of extinction. Today, the park has over 2,500 of these majestic animals. Kaziranga is undoubtedly one of the biggest conservation success stories of the modern era. As we travel across this iconic park, I try to find out what has led Kaziranga to such a spectacular success. One of the first persons I meet on arriving in Kaziranga is the young Indian Forest Service officer Abharna. Bright and enthusiastic, she believes in leading from the front. No trappings of officialdom here. She's the first one out in the field at any sign of trouble. This morning, she has received news of firing being reported in her range area, and she is rushing to the field to investigate the incident. As we travel to the base camp, I can feel her tension.
First thing, every person in the park feels fingers crossed like that should not be a rhino dead. That is the feel that we had towards the rhino here. So we feel really very bad when we hear some news of blank firing or firing which has not been confirmed for a long time.
The closer we get to the camp, the more apprehensive she gets. If it was a blank fire by one of the staff members on a patrol, they would have heard by now.
Tiger, 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 mobile.
Sometimes the rangers fire in the air to scare away a wild animal which may otherwise attack them. The very fact that there is no report of a gunfire by any of the forest guards can only mean one thing: poachers. But she's hoping that they can still stop the poachers before they do any further damage.
जो कैंप में गनशॉट सुनाया उनका अलावा पूरा कैंप का वो जो नदी किनारे में उन लोगों को बोल दीजिए अलर्ट रहने के लिए और पूरा वो बोट्स ढूंढने के लिए बोल दीजिए और फुटप्रिंट्स भी ढूंढने के लिए बोल दीजिए.
After about half an hour's drive, we reach a small river which we will have to cross in a country boat. Across the other end is the forest watch camp which reported gunshots. As soon as we reach the shore, Abharna rushes to meet the beat officer of the camp to get an update.
क्या हुआ?
ये इधर में थोड़ा क्रॉसिंग का मैंने खबर मिला है सुबह 7 बजे.
कौन सुनाया?
तो हमारा स्टाफ बोला है, इसीलिए हम लोग सब आकर ढूंढ रहा है. अभी तो नहीं मिला है.
The first priority now is to check if there is any rhino body in the vicinity. That is the only way to confirm if the poachers have already achieved what they came for, or can they still be stopped from killing a rhino.
अभी 2 घंटा हो गया, अगर अभी नहीं मिल रहे मतलब थोड़ा सा डर लग रहा है.
Abharna gives instructions for the forest staff to fan out in all directions. She herself will lead one team in the direction from where the gunshots came. It's summer. The sun is beating down hard. There is tall, dried elephant grass all around us, as high as over 6 feet. It can easily hide a man or even a rhino or any other deadly animal. These tall grasses shelter more than 6,000 wild animals, and a majority of them capable of killing humans in a moment. There are over 2,500 rhinos, over 1,000 elephants, more than 2,000 wild buffaloes, 106 tigers, bears, and many species of snakes. Rhino mothers and babies in tow are especially dangerous. In most cases, it's the baby who goes running towards anything that's new to him. He's curious and wants to explore. This sets off the mother. Head down, she charges at a speed of 30 miles an hour to knock off anything that she considers a threat to her baby. The park loses a lot of staff in these animal attacks every year. We have to tread carefully. Abharna keeps an unrelenting pace. The search party keeps to the dundee or the narrow mud track. The first places to look for are the dung heaps. The rhinos use the same spot for defecating in a particular area, so if there's a body to be found, perhaps that's the place to start. We have been out in the field under the sweltering sun for a couple of hours now, but I've found nothing so far. No sign of the poachers, nor any dead rhino. It's been tough going, but Abharna does not want to stop the search. Time is of the essence. If the poachers have not yet succeeded in killing a rhino, there could still be time to stop them from doing this. But if they have killed a rhino, they must be tracked down and apprehended before they can leave the park with the horn. After another hour or so, suddenly the breeze brings the unmistakable smell of death. We are in Kaziranga National Park with the young Indian Forest Service officer Abharna, who's hot on the trail of a possible poaching incident.
It's been a couple of hours since we have not found anything, so it's really we are worried.
After nearly 3 hours of trek through the thick grass fields in the sweltering heat, we begin to smell the unmistakable stench of a dead body. Abharna tells me this is the most difficult and challenging part of her job. She joined the Forest Service barely 3 years back, and this is just her second posting. From the day she arrived, she has faced some tough challenges. It's been baptism by fire. She recalls her very first day in Kaziranga. She was charged by a rhino.
While we were coming back, there was one makana which was standing on the road. So what we thought is like we can just take the side and we can go, and we took the side and we just went. And like all of a sudden when we took one other cow, there was a rhino calf and the rhino. The baby was almost 2 months, 3 months old. And all of a sudden when it saw the vehicle and especially the light, all of a sudden it started running towards the vehicle. And like I did not have any clue because it was the first day, and like I can say it was the first hour of my service there here. So so I thought of like what to do kind of thing. And that time I had a guard with me, and like that guard started shouting, but it did not hear, and it started running towards the vehicle. When it started running towards the vehicle, then mother also followed the calf. So we thought we are gone, because when we started taking vehicle at the back, we saw the makna at the back. So we were sandwiched between the elephant and the rhino calf and mother. So we could not have any other option. So we opened the fire, 2-3 rounds of fire. That was like, I thought like we are gone, but somehow we were saved. But that was actual memorable day, first day I can say in this park.
Abharna was lucky to escape unscathed, but many of the forest staff have suffered serious injuries in rhino and other animal attacks. I meet Nukul Bordoloi, a guard in the Western Range, who was attacked by a rhino on one of his patrols.
মই তাৰমানে গৈ আছিলোঁ, গৈ থকা অৱস্থাত ভূপেন শইকীয়া গুলি কৰি গড়ক গুলি নকৰি পলাই গুচি গ'ল, জংঘলত সোমাই গ'ল। সোমাই যোৱা অৱস্থাত তেতিয়া মোক গড়ে ধৰি ল'লে। গড়ে ধৰিলে, ধৰাৰ পিছত মই নাকত মাৰিলোঁ, মুখত মাৰি তেজ উলিয়াই তাই মই বাচিলোঁ। বাচি পেলাই মই লাহে লাহে গৈ গৈ তাৰমানে কেম্প পাইছোঁগৈ। তেজ এইটো চব শেষ হৈ গ'ল, 9টা চিলাই আছিল।
Many months on, Nakul is still repaying the 30,000 rupee loan that he spent on his treatment. He's one of the many guards I meet at Kaziranga who've been attacked and grievously injured by animals in the line of duty. Foot patrolling is extremely risky. I'm moved to wonder why it is still in use. The field director of the park, Satyendra Singh, admits this is the biggest dilemma confronting the management.
On foot patrolling is the vital, because we cannot make road all along. If we make road all along the park, then there will be a problem. Then when flood comes, the silt will stay back in the park, and the water retention capacity of the water body will reduce. So we have to do the foot patrolling. The biggest worry for our frontline staff is the attack by the wild animals while doing the patrolling. In the last 5 years, I think 35 number of frontline staff has been injured, and 6 forest officials have died due to attack by wild animals inside the park.
So as things stand today, foot patrolling still remains the most effective way to guard the park. It's usual for a forest guard to walk almost 10 kilometers from his range office to his beat camp. Interestingly, these beat camps are also visited by the rhinos many times during the day and night. They come looking for the salty wastewater from the bathrooms of these camps. So the guards cannot afford to relax even when in the relative safety of their camps. Having heard all these stories about animal attacks, I'm well aware of the danger as Abharna and her team continue with their search. About 10 minutes back, we began to smell a foul odor in the air. As we move ahead, the stench gets stronger. There is a dead animal not too far from where we are. Abharna quickens her pace.
Oh no, again we lost one more.
Her worst fears have been confirmed. There is a dead rhino in a clearing just ahead of us. It's a huge setback for the young officer. But she recovers quickly and starts firing instructions to her staff to block all exit points.
अभी तो कंफर्म हो गया कोचिंग, अभी क्या करेंगे? अभी एक काम कीजिए, WT मैसेज भेज दीजिए, ठीक है? और वो पोस्टमार्टम के लिए डॉक्टर को बोल दीजिए, ठीक है? सबसे पहले सब कैंप को, जो भी आसपास में कैंप है, उनको बोल दीजिए अलर्ट रहने के लिए, और वो फुटप्रिंट्स ढूंढने के लिए बोल दीजिए, ठीक है? और वो एक कैंप में एक आदमी कैंप में, हर कैंप में होना चाहिए, ठीक है? अगर शाम तक आप लोगों को नहीं मिल रहे आदमी अंदर, ठीक है? सब लोग जहाँ एग्जिट पॉइंट होगा वहाँ जाके एम्बुश कर लीजिए.
It will not be easy to catch the poachers now that they have managed to get hold of the rhino horn, which commands such a high price in the black market. The heaviest horn collected from an Indian rhino weighs about 3 kilos, but the average weight is about a kilo or less. It's sad to think that a 2-ton splendor of nature is so brutally destroyed for 1 kilo of horn. And all because someone somewhere thinks that it will give them the potency to perform as robustly as the rhino does. Rhino's mating behavior and prowess is unparalleled in the animal kingdom. The male reaches adulthood around 10 years of age. A solitary animal for most of his life, he will seek out a female only for mating. It's a long, tireless pursuit prior to mating, often lasting many hours and kilometers. Finally, when she gives in and the mating begins, it often goes on for as long as 90 minutes. Hence the belief in his potency, which drives the poaching trade. Back in the field, Abharna is still looking for clues that would lead her to the poachers who have killed the rhino and made away with its horn.
We have lost one other rhino to the poachers, and it was very brutally killed, and our party was put all over the park, and all the exit path has been sealed, so we won't let them escape.
It's a tough ask. While the guards get busy trying to look for footprints and other clues of the poachers, Abharna recalls the very first time she sat on an ambush to nab the poachers.
We put almost 7 ambush team on the ground, on the land, and apart from that there were 2 ambush team who were sitting in the boat, and one was on the speedboat. I along with my battalion and like one other team was in the other boat. From 3:30 in the evening till the next morning 6:30 we were just sitting for the ambush thinking that they will come out, but like they did not come out because since we were in the water, we could not see what's happening on the ground, but they were on the highland, they could see who were waiting where, who were sitting where. So they were so clever, they did not come out on that day.
For 3 days and nights, she and other forest staff kept vigil at various exit points on land as well as in water. Yet they failed to find the poachers. The park has open boundaries and too many vulnerable spots from where the poachers can escape. Life for Abharna and all the frontline staff in Kaziranga is full of tension 24/7. They cannot afford to relax or relent. If it is not the threat from poachers, it is the risk to life from the very animals they are trying to protect.
Actually, many times they are getting injured and like they may be killed by the animals also, for whom they are working. The same animal is killing the staff, but still they are very sportive and still they are so conscious and so dedicated that they are working for the animals, and they never ever give the complaints. And whatever the time you say, this is the time that you have to go for the patrolling, just the moment they get the order, they will just go and they will do the patrolling and whatever the work that you have given for them. In that way they are really dedicated and they are really courageous.
The working conditions and the terrain increase their difficulties manyfold. Elephants are also used for patrolling some of the areas. The park has more than 50 elephants on its roll. Many of these are working moms and often bring their calves to work. Elephants are useful in base camps where it would otherwise not be possible to send rations and other essential supplies for the staff. A guard spends weeks and days on his base camp in isolation, away from family and friends and the rest of the world at large. His only contact with the outside world is either a radio walkie-talkie or an antiquated mobile phone. And during inclement weather, sometimes even that basic contact with the rest of the world is cut off. Their tireless work and dedication is surely paying rich dividends. Not only have the rhino numbers increased manifold, there is another significant species which is thriving under their protection: the tiger. While elsewhere in India, it's at the very top of the poachers' list, here in Kaziranga, the tiger is off their radar. Living quietly in the shadow of 3 giant mammals, the rhino, elephant, and wild buffalo, the tiger numbers have also shown a remarkable growth. With 106 tigers, the park has the highest tiger density anywhere in the world. Kaziranga National Park is globally hailed as a spectacular conservation success story, but hardly anyone ever talks about the countless men and women who have made this possible. Men and women like Nakul Bordoloi and Abharna. Had they not decided to dedicate their lives to the park and the rhino, there wouldn't have been any greater one-horned rhinoceros around, nor the Kaziranga National Park as we know it today. They truly are the Rhino Warriors.